I'm often criticized, and rightfully so, for reviewing only the elite and flagship TVs each and every year. That stops today as I take a look at the Hisense U7K Mini LED. However, judging by its picture quality alone, I still am reviewing one of the very best TVs of the year.
I've seen things people wouldn't believe.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for joining me as I look at the Hisense U7K Mini LED. I've been wanting to review a Hisense TV for the last few years, especially since last year's amazing U8H, which was considered one of the best TVs of last year compared to any TV of any price. Now, when talking about Hisense, we will discuss value. However, judging by the picture quality from last year's TV and this year's U7K, value is just an added bonus. I remember being at CES looking at Hisense's entire lineup, which would be the U6K, U7K, and U8K, which I also have here for review, and being very surprised that the entire lineup was mini LED. They were also all very gamer-centric. Now, you'll have some gaming in this video. However, I will be doing separate PC and console gaming videos, as it does have 144 Hertz capability and all the gaming features anyone could want. All right, guys, as we look at the U7K at 65 inches, the build quality, the design, the remote, all I can say is simple, well-built, and effective. That is pretty much the theme of the U7 series. The remote, again, simple. It actually stands up on its own, and it is backlit. The legs are also very simple. It's the easiest TV I have ever put together, but I do like that they are thin, solid, but minimalist. Same with the Hisense badge in the front. It is barely seen from up close and disappears as you step back. There are also two positions for the legs out wide, and here you're seeing the more narrow stance. When it comes to build quality, design, and the chassis of the TV, it is very important when it's in a well-lit living room versus a home theater. I do like the way the U7K looks. In my room for about 2 weeks, it was never a bother. I actually enjoyed looking at it. Not just its picture quality, but its overall design. Again, the remote is backlit and stands on its own. The back of the TV is a very hard plastic, but looks metal, very well built. 4 HDMI, 2 of them are HDMI 2.1, 2 of them are capable of 144 Hertz. You have some cable management on the back of the legs here where they're notched out. You're looking at the subwoofer. This TV sounds excellent. It is very loud, and I'll be able to show that to you later in the video. Overall, I do like the design, especially at this price point. At 65 inches, this TV at this moment is $729. 55 inches, $649, and at 75 inches, it's $1,149. Very simplistic design, but does not look cheap by any stretch of the imagination. I like its stance, and I mean by that is how it sits in the room. Semi-gloss, and you'll see the reflection handling throughout the video, as it will be in a brighter room for most of the review. It is a QLED mini LED, 144 Hertz, so it's not going to be paper thin, nor does it need to be. Now, with all that out of the way, the picture quality is absolutely ridiculous. Again, you're seeing it here in a pretty bright living room, so you'll see some of the reflections. That is on purpose. The colors pop. They are very deep. Here you can see the black bars are very dark, local dimming doing its job, processing doing its job. Going into the review, I watched many movies during its break-in period. Upscaling is very good. Sports, very good. Motion, very good. We'll go through the local dimming a little bit later as we go through its picture settings. Now, whenever I review a TV, especially at this price, and I don't want to keep saying that because it's really a disservice to how good this TV is, and it's not a low-end TV or even a mid-range TV. that matches the price. What I mean by that is the U7 is second in their lineup. The U8K is their flagship. The UX I won't count, as it's an amazing TV that we need to see, but it's the second one down, meaning it should be good and it should have these features, and it does. But when you add it in the price of a 65-inch TV at that price and a 75-inch TV at that price, this becomes ridiculous. Now, what I mean by that is the flexibility of image. A lot of times at this price point, the settings are very limited. The light enhancer or light sensor needs to be disabled, but when you leave it on, it is very strong. Some people have told me in the comments they do like using the light sensor, not as an energy saver, but by reading the room. Going through the settings, the local dimming, I do love the flexibility of image. Now, I will say my first complaint with the setup, now we are running Google TV here, but through their settings and the way their operating system works, I don't like having to check a setting and then back out to show it. I much rather a lot of these be enabled as I go through, which I'll show you next when I go through all of the picture presets. Now, for me, when I say flexibility of image, I love to see that each preset looks very different from the other. Some TVs, even at the higher end, only have a few, and the image can only look the way it is. And what I mean by that is flexibility of image is each person can pick what they like. Do you like accuracy? Do you like vibrancy? Something like filmmaker mode versus standard. I like the theater mode here. It also has HDR10, Dolby Vision, HDR10 Plus. Now you'll see when you go into movies and things of that nature, HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision will lock you out of local dimming. That is just the nature of that HDR. But as you see me going through all of the different options, there is a Kalman calibration setting here as well, which you won't see because I'm in HDR here. But there are a ton of settings, which has been a complaint of mine in the past. So very happy to be able to take the image where I want it and make it look how I want it to look depending on the movies. I watched a lot of old movies, a lot of movies with grain to see how it handled the noise. It did fantastic. Also had no problem watching it in a very bright room, as the room it's in right now is very bright, as you can see there. The semi-gloss handles the glare pretty well. TV is very bright. But it's really the color. It's the ability to change the image. It's the clarity. And here you have the calibration settings, color. But so much to it. Again, you expect that at where it is in the lineup, but not for the money. And that's something I'm going to keep repeating through the video, is I don't want to keep calling it a value TV. It isn't that. However, the price dictates that kind of narration in terms of the kind of TV that it is. But it is their second one down. As we go through the next part of the demo, I want to be able to show you the differences in each preset. Now I'm going through the picture mode settings here. There's also a quick menu that you hit by hitting the menu button, which is much like the game mode. That's not just for the game mode, which I'll show you later. It is something you can use. It's a shortcut menu you can use, which I'll show you later. Now you're going to see me here pop in and out of the presets to show you what they can do. It is rather arduous. Something I'd like to see them change is to be able to just tap in and out of them and not have to back all the way out of the menu. But I do want to show you how each one looks individually. Now filmmaker mode dims quite a bit. Same with the light sensor. However, when it does dim down, the image does look very good. The vivid is bright but not unwieldy as we move into our first real demo for black delineation and how the black levels are. Again, we're in a brighter room. We'll get into a darker room later, but these are not easy demos. There is no changing of the camera, leaving it where it is to see how it behaves. The light stays where it needs to be, very colorful. And I'm not in filmmaker mode, meaning I am in the theater preset, which I prefer. Filmmaker mode, while accurate, I didn't prefer it, so I wanted to show you the TV at one of its most bright, or I should say vibrant, presets, the one that I prefer. Now I'm dead center. I will show you off to the side shortly, but look at the black level and the light control. Now this is a slow transition, and up at the logo in the corner you can see a bit of haloing there, but it's not a big deal. We have about 300 zones on this QLED mini LED. The colors look fantastic. Now we also had the U7K go against some of the best TVs in the world at M-Wave, an AV event where it did very well at a quarter of the price. It competed with all the flagships. The U8K was supposed to be there. The U7K hung in there. But its calibration was actually quite accurate and easy to accomplish. As we go into our good friend Jennifer Gala, her demo material, I love using this for black bars. Off to an extreme angle and up high, you can see the black bars will change color a little bit on the top. Now standing over it, you can also see where they lose the color. Now the camera's not going to change. As I move down, they disappear. That's so important to not change the camera. I'm going to move into SDR now. Now in SDR, you don't lose brightness. The color looks fantastic. And you also end up with a theater day and night. As I mentioned, I watch sports. I'll show you a shot of that. I'm going to pause the image here and go into the menu to show you SDR. I want to be able to show you the different presets that are now available and how each one of those changes the image. This is just something I like to do because at times you can say to yourself, I like this, I don't like that, this is not my taste. I want to show you how each preset looks individually, then you can choose. If a TV doesn't have the flexibility, you're just relying on what someone else is saying. What I want to do is show you how each preset looks. And I like seeing that many presets. Having theater day and theater night, again, that was my go-to for the majority of this review. It was vibrant enough without being too noisy or bleeding colors everywhere. Now, as we move out of this demo into the end of it, I will tell you that many mini LEDs, QLEDs especially, you get to the end of this demo where you'll see the champagne cork pop. Typically, you'll see things dim to cover the blooming. That does not happen here. Very important in terms of its shadow detail, local dimming, and processing. You don't see it dim here at all. And when you see the champagne pop, it's a fast transition. It handles it well, and it does not dim the image at all. Very impressive. Again, we're talking about local dimming and processing. Coming up now, sound. TV does sound very good. I apologize if that was rather loud. Moving into gaming quickly, we're also going to do a separate gaming video for PC and console, but for the purpose of this review, I will touch on it, show you the game bar and the different features that are here. Auto low latency mode is here. Variable refresh rate is here. Among other settings, you can change the aspect ratio. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. A lot of this is dictated by the type of game. HDR, you'll see some of this grayed out. I'll be focusing on 144 Hertz on the PC review. But again, at this price point, to have this many gaming features is ridiculous. And I'll reiterate, the price point makes you think it's a value-based model. It is not. It is their mid to high, but the value is there, and I'll keep repeating that. You cannot get this type of local dimming. You cannot get this type of image with this many gaming features at this price. It does not exist. I like using the Soul's title for the local dimming. You do have your shortcut menu here. I am going to show you the gaming menu. My one complaint about the game menu is that advanced contrast enhancer which is not the name of it here on Hisense, is disabled or locked out. The key thing though is local dimming is here, it is enabled, and it does have an impact. So showing you the gaming settings. Why I like to use Soul's here is its black level. You're going to walk in a dark area. You want to make sure the local dimming is doing its job and as nearly as effective as it is during movie watching. This is not an easy game to show. As we walk into this cavern, it is very dark. It stays dark. More importantly, around the heads-up display, everything is there solid. No blooming around the image. And we are pushing it here. Very colorful, more importantly, very responsive. Now, I typically game on OLED, so I'm used to an instantaneous pixel response, and I'll tell you the motion and pixel response here is excellent. Didn't notice any lag or blurring. I'll show you later there are different presets you can use within the game bar. Moving out into the main area, this is a gorgeous scene. And it looks fantastic. Moving into Street Fighter, very quick, very colorful, no lag to speak of in terms of pixel response. Didn't feel like there was any real blurring at all. The game mode does look good. We move into Horizon Zero Dawn. Here I'm going to show you the shortcut menu, and you'll also see that there are other presets available within the game bar that are actually separate from the other presets. As you move into it, it will let you know which ones are set up for gaming. You'll see that in a moment. Now for any game bar, very important to have other presets other than game mode. Now here we're putting on VRR. In some games, it will knock you out of HDR. I think the HDR dictates that, and the game dictates that. Now back into the shortcut menu, showing you the game settings again. Just so many features, again, for TV like this. Moving into the demo settings part of it, I should say. This is where the other picture modes are. Now, as you pan down, you're saying optimized for gaming. Not all the presets in this little category say that, so I imagine only the ones that label it sports and filmmaker mode are still lag type things, meaning they keep the input lag down. I think the other presets feel a little more flowy, so you probably wouldn't use those, but you still have the option if you like. For all manufacturers of these TVs, you have to understand that the picture quality of the game mode is very important. So gaming, fantastic. Look for more videos on that up next. In closing, U7K is a must-buy, not just because of its price, which is absurd, but its feature set and picture quality. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I will tell you that this model behaves much better than the one that I had going against the leading TVs a few weeks ago. If there's any complaint, is that the viewing angle can be a little bit narrow as far as the local dimming, but you have to really get off to the side. Very colorful, a lot of flexibility of image, good build quality. I like the design, though it is very simple. Backlit remote. TV sounds fantastic, a lot of flexibility. You don't need to run out and buy a soundbar. I can't wait to see the U8K, which I have sitting next to me. But this is an easy recommend, not just for the price, but for anyone looking for a new TV, whether in a dark room or a brighter room. My biggest criticism, as I mentioned, is through the settings. Things need to be a little more simple in terms of popping in and out. When you switch presets, I don't want to back all the way out. Maybe a little more of a simple setup even for gaming and getting in and out of the modes, knowing where you are. It felt snappy, but the picture quality, the depth, the color, the clarity, very, very impressed. Again, watched all kinds of movies on it. And even the motion settings, if you're a fan of motion interpolation, there are many settings for that. 144 hertz QLED, mini LED with 300 zones. For this price, it is a must-buy, highly recommended. Look at that. Now, at the end of this video, my question to you is, are you willing to give a brand like Hisense a chance? My biggest complaint for them in the past is not having a big store presence. But I will tell you, if this TV was in the store, it would decimate everything in its price point. They're doing a disservice by not being in the stores. But at least now you have me to deliver to you how good it is. And for me, it's fantastic. And again, one of the best TVs this year, regardless of price. Local dimming is on point. Colors on point. Clarity on point. What are your thoughts? Are you willing to give Hisense a chance? Do you need to see it in person? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Please consider liking and subscribing. Take care.
I belong to nobody!